Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Audi has 600 reasons why you want a new station wagon in your driveway. I'm at the 2019 LA Auto Show, and this gorgeous little beast is the all-new RS6 Avant. Let's take a first look. Now, with any RS product, you probably want to know what's going on underneath the hood. Now, this has been a forbidden kind of fruit vehicle in America for years, and it's really nice to see it coming to the States finally. What you're looking at is a 4-liter biturbo, twin turbocharged V8 that makes 591 horsepower and 590 pound-feet of torque. Now, this gets me really excited because this is a true competitor to the Mercedes-AMG E63 wagon and a Porsche Panamera Turbo S Sport Turismo. And in the RS6 Avant, Audi says you'll get to 60 in around 3.6 seconds, reaching a top speed of nearly 190 miles an hour. And all that power, of course, goes through an 8-speed ZF automatic with launch control. And then, of course, you also get Audi's patented Quattro all-wheel drive system. As this one sits, Audi says it should weigh around 4,000 pounds. So this is one gorgeous wagon. It's got one gorgeous engine. Can't wait to drive this thing when it does go on sale. Now, looking at the rest of the front end, you can see for the RS6, Audi has grafted on the front fascia of the A7, the S7, and the RS7, which I think works really well here, because if you look at the standard A6 body style, the front end looks a little bit too pedestrian. It looks too plain. With the signature hexagonal grille here, the single frame grille, these full LED headlights with the laser light technology, these massive air intakes, which of course are all functional. Then you have this bulging sculpted hood paired with this really gorgeous dark blue. In fact, in the video, it probably looks a little bit black, but if you look at it closely, it has this gorgeous metallic sparkle in it from this dark blue with the black accents. This is one insanely sexy car, and it makes me happy that Audi has listened to enthusiasts. They've addressed our cries for a new fast station wagon here in the States. Now, looking at the wheel choices, 21-inch wheels are going to be standard. This is the optional 22-inch wheel with the carbon ceramic brake option. You can see those brakes are massive. They look almost like the same size as the Lamborghini Urus, but probably not. I'd say these are like a 16-inch rotor with these massive 8-piston calipers, Brembo calipers. And overall, when you look at the profile, I know Americans like to say wagons are a dirty word, but how could you not like this thing? It's just so incredibly gorgeous, from the flared out fenders to the massive wheels to these really slim roof rails to that panoramic sunroof. This is one insanely practical and beautiful looking car, and I think it actually looks better than the Mercedes-Benz counterpart. Now, around back of the RS6 Avant, you can see that tasteful, understated look carries over. In fact, if you didn't know this was an RS6, you could easily just debadge this car. It has that sleeper status with it because it just looks like an ordinary Audi wagon, aside from the rear underbody diffusers, these massive dual exhaust tips, which I cannot wait to fire up this engine whenever I do get this one out to actually drive. It probably sounds amazing. Now, being a wagon, you probably want to know, what's the cargo capacity like? Well, this is a practical family vehicle, and Audi says you get around 21 cubic feet of space with the seats up. Fold them down, you get around 59 cubic feet of space. That is matching that of the Q8 SUV, which is their big SUV, and about the same as what you're going to find in a lot of compact crossovers. So just because it's a performance car, just because it's a wagon, does not mean this thing is not practical, and it's what makes these cars so desirable with a lot of enthusiasts. So the interior of the RS6 Avant is pretty similar to the regular S6. Shutting the door, it actually has a soft close door function, and this interior obviously has some details to it to make you realize that you're sitting in a special version of the A6. The seats, you can see, are more aggressively bolstered. There's some nice contrasting stitching. They're heated and cooled. I believe you can also get massaging seats, but don't quote me on that. The Audi doesn't have final specs yet of the US version. The steering wheel is nice and meaty. It's chunky. It has complete suede Alcantara, which looks good now, but after a few years, it'll probably look like crap, so kind of keep that in mind. It's a power tilt telescoping steering wheel. The interior is just stitched with full leather. This is real leather. This is genuine carbon fiber trim. A lot of piano black plastic here. This is the latest version of Audi's MMI Touch response with wireless Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. It also has haptic feedback. You guys have shown or seen this before. I've shown you some of the newer Audi products. The virtual cockpit is standard on this particular vehicle. And overall, I like the seats. You have a good view of the road. You kind of feel like you're sitting in a regular, normal car until you actually touch the steering wheel and feel the bolsters in the seats. But that's kind of the beauty about the RS6. It really makes you feel like you're just driving an ordinary family car until you put your foot down. This thing goes like hell. But let's hop into the back seats and see just how practical this thing actually is. So if you're trying to sell this car to your spouse, just hop into the back seat and just look at all the space the RS6 gives you. Now, because it's a wagon, you have a lot of headroom here. I would say at 5'7", somebody who's over 6 feet will easily brush their head up against this. There's a good amount of legroom here. There is a hump here that takes up a lot of space here for the middle passenger, but I would say you have around 37 inches of legroom. It's matching as what you're gonna get at something like a Honda Civic or a Toyota Corolla. There is a nice little armrest that folds down here that gives you 2 cup holders, a little bit more storage, and then you also have 2 USB ports and then your own set of rear seat climate controls and rear seat airbags. So if you guys are looking to purchase this sexy fast wagon, what's it gonna cost and when is it gonna be available? Well, Audi didn't have full pricing for this vehicle just yet, but I would estimate it's gonna cost around 6 figures, maybe around $115,000. Keep in mind, an S6 sedan is around $80,000. I would easily add another 20 grand for the RS6 and even more money for the wagon version. And Audi says it is available at your local Audi dealership starting in the second quarter of 2020. This will be a 2021 model, so keep that in mind. For Redline Reviews here at the 2019 LA Auto Show, I'm Sofyan Bey.